Another day in the life of not being able to upload any of this. I'm not expecting that to change anytime soon, but, well, if you notice the pearls being lower, I did try to practice the final boss off screen. Like, and of course, the the Dantes pushed me off like they did with the initial attempt. I even had to look at videos of hackless runs with Splattershot, essentially. Yeah, hello train. And I mean, I guess I can get the idea of just making sure, like, you can just move along with the boss. And it was such a good run, too. Like, it was a really good run. I'm not sure how people are able to turn what is usually a 1 hour run into, like, a 30-minute romp, maybe even 15 minutes. But, of course, welcome to attempt 16. So, of course, when starting, you'll have mostly easy floors. Sometimes there will be a normal floor or a hard floor. Sometimes there won't be an easy floor. This sounds really good to have. But if possible, I would like to increase my range. You'll always start with 30, with 500 membucks at the beginning. And each floor has a set amount of membucks that you can earn. The one thing I'm probably going to do is probably turn up the audio on my feed to try to see if I can actually prepare for the final boss that way. And in this game mode, we're supposed to shoot the portals whenever we have an open opportunity and destroy them like so. The chip I just got is an orange chip. Orange chips are range chips. They're all about coverage and range. So, like, chips that increase the radius and range of various things. Things that, like, boosting things that have to do with covering the ground. Stuff like that. So yeah, and what we have here is a chip that we have a mobility chip and a luck chip, but if I have another opportunity to increase my range, I will. Besides, it's a normal floor, so I might as well take it. If I see a main damage distance, of course I'm going to take that too. Like, if you decide to go for main range up, the biggest thing I can recommend is pair that with main damage distant and piercing. Because piercing goes through, like, piercing allows you to make your shots go through enemies. And if you can, like, if you're able to, to have main range up and that, well, it will allow you to basically, extend your range beyond that. Here is me just being a bit too complacent and putting myself in danger needlessly because I was trying to do something else. Fortunately, this is a normal floor. So yeah, I don't know how speedrunners are able to do fleeting foes floors so easily without hacks and such. But that's a talk for another day. As tempting as this is, it's not worth it for how, well, we only have 2 chips on this floor. So I think I want to take a luck chip. Luck chips are all about luck drops and such. There are chips that increase the timing window of how long until the chain is broken, and chips that increase in how the max combo of your lucky chain, and the chance of an item drop. I will say this right now: if Well, that was fast. And that was kind of cool. I'll say this right now. If you're doing a luck build, avoid danger floors. Or if you decide to take a danger floor, just go back into the elevator if it means no item drops because you are a sitting duck. You can go back into the elevator in case you don't like a floor's options. Currently, our ink color is orange because of our main color and such. But, I could increase the chances, but I think I want to have some poison ink. Whatever is the second most common color in your palette will always be the accented color. Because I don't exactly have an abundant secondary color, well, my ink color is orange as a result. So yeah. Now these panicking alamambos will leave behind splat bombs as their only mean of defense, and as a result, they will try to leave those behind as a means to basically attack you while you are trying to pursue them. And that's how she wrote. We've only done 2 of the game modes so far, and I will have to have a moment to talk about the third and fourth game mode, which, given our run so far, well, we might have to talk about one awkward pause later. I mean, this sounds pretty good to have. Like, if you want to make your shots be able to target certain enemies, I do think this is good to have, especially with certain bosses, because if you face Pinging Marshall and you have homing shot on, that is really good to have because you're able to attack the weak spot with a lot more efficiency. I don't exactly have a spending budget for this thing, so I'm going to go for Ink Bottle Drop. If this is the winning run, this is going to be an awkward cut. So yeah, I tend to avoid the I tend to avoid the floor 5 vending machine. There's always going to be a vending machine on the 5th floor. That's because, given where it is and what floors you're going to take, there's more than, if you're doing Hackless, there's more than likely of a chance that you're not going to have a lot to get enough chips or something special. I know I could be missing out on getting a better special, I could get myself triple splashdown or triple ink strike. Triple ink strike's really good for the final boss of this challenge, because it means you can just toss your triple ink strikes from far away while it's trying to attack with overly brutal specials. This is good. Shoot. I want this, but I also want this. Ink damage. Yellow is my second most abundant color, so now that's my accented color. But I'm taking another red chip. And okay, it stayed orange and yellows. Now we're on Splat Zones. Splat Zones, much like the Anarchy game mode of the same name, basically you have to score enough points to win the floor. You'll have a checkpoint, as you'll see with the sections between floors, and you want to keep it. You want to keep the zone your color, otherwise the drizzling capriosos, these things, will take away your zone and make the timer tick downwards. Ugh. Basically, whenever you see an open opportunity to take one of these gelatins down, you will indeed make your life easier because of it. And I will say that there are 4 different difficulties: easy, medium, hard, and rigorous. Higher the difficulty, higher the reward, and some floors have multiple variants. Either 2 variants for one game modes, or 2 variants for one difficulty. some floors only have one variant, period. So, yeah. I mean, it's tempted to take the lucky bottle drop, but at the same time, I think I want to charge my specials a bit more. I'm hoping to find another, I'm hoping to find another damage chip and such. Like, another thing you want for a game mode like this is to basically increase your knockback, capabilities. And the one thing that I can say is recommended for a challenge like this, if you're still using Trizuka even to the final floor, and, hold on, I have to check something. Yeah, I think that was Poison Ink doing its work. Nice. If you're keeping your Trizuka to the final floor and such, it's good to basically use this thing as more of a shoving tool. If you see huge crowds of enemies, you can use this to basically shove them away from, well, taking your floor in. I got lucky there. Yeah. The blue chip we got is mobile special charge. Blue chips are always all about movement and such, either charging something while you're moving or increasing the speed of your movement, whether it be run speed or swim speed, or increasing the damage for something mobile. I will say this, if you don't exactly have a special or a weapon that does something with speed or something, get Squid Attack. You can increase your damage with that. Anywho, main damage distance is good. Like I want this. But there's a bonus here. And there's this here. You know, I'll take the main damage distance. I do have ink damage up, and I think red's about to overtake orange as my main color. Yep. So, let's talk about Agent 4's palette. Agent 4's palette is all about, is based on the Agent 4s from the previous games, possibly including this one. It doesn't have a face associated with it simply because, well, at the beginning of every game, you have to make your Inkling, or in this case, make your Octoling or Inkling. And I'd say, and the exception being Octo Expansion, because at the beginning of Octo Expansion, you have to choose how your Octoling is going to look. When you begin your Octo Valley adventure, you'll be given a hero shot, which is a nerfed splatter shot, and your first special, your first sub and first special will always be the Splat Bomb and whatever is the easiest to use special of the time. And in this case, it's Trizuka. While in the first game, I think the first special you run into is just Inkzuka. Let's see, that sounds good to have, but might as well increase my poison ink. Now, there's a good chance that this bonus floor could be a challenge floor, and if the challenge floor limits you something a bit too greatly, don't do the challenge. But it's a freaking Spectrum floor! Ha! For one floor, this will be what you have. And you can even make the chips play music. Yep, they supposedly play ebb and flow when you play them all together. The challenge floor, if the challenge limits you a bit too greatly, don't do the challenge at all. And I've played this floor to a science to a great degree. Like, once they're off of the one platform and such, you want to make sure that you have a open opportunity to attack a tower, but also have an open opportunity to escape. Okay, wait for them to come down. And now you know why I talk about Trizuka being a great shoving tool. You see a bunch of them together, one Trizuka knocks them back. And that was quite the hefty reward there, too. So, On to the first boss, the floor 10 boss and such. And it's Parallel Cannon. This is the easy mode variant of Parallel Cannon. Parallel Cannon will always will give you 3 armor pickups guaranteed for the first floor, and the main difficulty with it is that you will face it will be one-on-one, and there goes my armor. Please, 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 no. That last attempt was bull. Of course, the moment I end up getting close to defeating the final boss, I end up having runs where I just can't even get close to her again. Yes, Cleo. Anywho. This is attempt number 17. Let's cut to the chase. Let's just get straight to it. Because the moment I'm able to actually get this done, the moment I can actually work on it. Ugh. So, of course, we start with easy floors, though in this case it's kind of a natural selection of difficulty. Anywho, as I was saying, we have an easy, medium, and hard floor. This is tempting, and this won't benefit me, so main range, let's go. If I can get some main range and main damage distant, that will be pretty good. You always start off with 500 membucks unless you die early enough where you'll end up be punished for dying early enough and have no membucks to start with. So of course the first floor we're on is of course portals. This is one of the first introduced game modes of the project, and this particular floor just has whirling accelerandos. Bless you. These whirling accelerandos, if you let them attack you, will easily put you in critical stasis. So you kind of have to keep your distance from them should they be unable to be damaged. Usually a lot more gelatins would spawn from them, and so on and so forth. Okay, we actually have some pretty good ships this time around. Really? You have to put these two on the same floor and I can only pick one of them. No, I'll take Splash Radius for now. A bonus floor can have the chance of just being a challenge floor, which bothers me a lot on why they decide to call them both bonus floors when one of them could just be renamed to challenge. But we got chip saturation, which means, yep, our entire palette is filled for this one floor. Yep, and supposedly if you play it enough, it's ebb and flow. So what you want to do is just, and we have a lot of we have a lot of attack speed up, so we have a lot of shots going out, and so on and so forth. To this day, we still don't have a faster shooter type weapon than arrow spray. Like, this is basically going to be that weapon right there. And when you get enough attack speed ups and such, it's easy to see it melt through enemies and even speed up towers and such. So yeah, this is tempting to have, but I want to increase my splash radius if possible. This can even increase the splash radius of bombs and specials, and being able to increase that will basically make certain specials be absurdly potent. I'm going to toss a bomb right here with 2. Yeah, it was able to hit it from that far away. Also, there are walls here, so you're not at risk of falling off, despite it looking like that. So, yep, Splash Radius was able to secure a zone with a single bomb. So, in this zone, much like with its Anarchy game mode counterpart, you want to keep the zone your color. And in my case, my game color is orange, considering that I only have orange chips on my person. If, say, these drizzling capriosos are your natural predator on this floor. So much so that they will always decolor your zone and make your integer tick downwards. Be careful of them when they do this, though. Now, certain difficulties have, certain floors will have multiple variations. There will be, 2 variations for the same difficulty and 2 variations for the same mode. Sometimes some floors will only have an easy floor, and some floors will only have a rigorous floor. So, yeah. Let's get Sticky Ink. I think I want to, if I can get this, Hindrance Damage and Poison Ink, you have Ink Lava right there. So, Sticky Ink will basically slow down. Anywho, I completely forgot what I was saying. If I can get, Sticky Ink, Hindrance Damage, and Poison Ink, you have Ink Lava right there. Orange chips are all about range and coverage. If it covers the ground, if it goes a distance, it's going to be supported by that. Purple chips, like the one we have here, are all about support. Anything to help, basically slow down enemies, restore your ink tanks, save on ink usage, anything like that. Anything that has to do with basically allowing you to fire more often and to have an easier time taking down gelatins, it will cover for that too. You know what? Exposing Rise ground floor. Let's take a luck chip. Now our palettes, ink colors depend on what's our most abundant chip color. And for this one, it's basically orange, because we don't exactly have enough chips to make an accent. Accent colors can also add some variety to the chip color and such. So, yeah. When it comes to this game mode, you want to, for example, the special you're given, the Trizuka, it's the most basic special, and it doesn't do a lot of damage on portals. However, big however, there is a caveat to this. What it lacks in power for this game mode specifically, it greatly has in terms of knockback. Knockback is a great thing to have in this game mode. I'm not kidding. And if you see a huge wave of gelatins, like a school of them, you can basically park them by hitting them point blank with a Inkzuka shot. It may not one-shot them. It will damage them, but you can park big groups of them as they have an opening. Now, the reason why I don't go towards the 5th floor's vending machine is simply because, well, you're not going to have a lot for this type of challenge. You'd only have a reason to go there if you do have hacks that basically boost the amount of mem bucks you have. So yeah. Special charge up sounds good. Run speed up sounds good. I mean, I'd only do this if I really want the thing. You know what? Let's take a mobile chip. Blue chips are all about... Well, I didn't talk about yellow chips. Yellow chips are all about luck drops, either increasing the odds of something showing up, or increasing the window or how high your chain can go up. And some chips you're gonna want to get because there are certain drops that don't show up naturally until you equip that chip. As a result, Lucky Bomb drop is something great to have, and having Disc Piece drop in the case you don't have anything with a second special going off, because drone ink strike it counts as a hack is really good to have. So yeah, ink saver main sounds good. Homing shots also sounds good. The one thing we also had was run speed up. Blue chips are all about mobility, so anything that can increase your movement on the ground or in the ink, or anything that involves moving to charge something up, or anything that involves moving to do damage, it will boost. Now let's talk about red chips. Red chips are all about damage, either increasing the speed of something or increasing the damage of something. Something. Increasing shots, increasing how many times you can fire something. Anything that involves that is what damage chips are good at, or what power chips are good at. Since we're in portals, all you have to do is find open opportunities to shoot these portals down. Having open opportunities is good because it can be very easy to be overwhelmed by schools of gelatin. Wait, I know why they're named that way. Puns. The series in puns, I swear. And sometimes you want to let them spawn their gelatin before popping your Trizuka to basically park them and to have an open opportunity to fire. And that's what makes me appreciate using this special a whole lot more than I did initially when I tried to start this run for the first time. And I think depending on how far you are in the floor depends on what spawns. Usually it was Marching Adente. Now we have Battering Lento. One hit from them, you're already in critical stasis. And whenever this aura shows up around them, I mean, you'll see it right now. Or not. Well, that means enemies are about to spawn from it. So, sometimes if you want to use your special against them, it's best to let them come out of the portal and then try to part them that way. I want to take this, but I can't. I don't like this floor. Usually I wait till you use any membucks on the opposite floor. I think I just noticed now that Marina and Oct are talking to each other. These vending machines are developed or manufactured by Express. I was hoping for a better special than this one. I need something that has to do with explosions. I'll just take one of these. Now, the moment I actually gain more of one type of chip is when I get my accent color. And yeah, mobile ink recovery. Might as well make blue my accent color. Blue chips are something I'm going to try to focus on when we get to doing brush or roller hackless. But the one thing I really like about these type of floors is that, well, you can, this type about your dynamic ink colors, you can see the effects of your ink color, allowing for something that can be ever-changing as you play. Now, in this particular floor, it's literally Sisyphus. There's only one type of floor in its, of this variation. There's no other type of floor, there's no tower pushing variant or anything. And if these springing spiccatos get too close to you, they will try to splash down on you. You can use their springs to actually attack other enemies in the process. So now we're on the easy mode variant of the floor. There will be an easy mode variant on the 10th floor and a hard mode variant on the 2nd floor. And that's my cat. I will be right back. And now we're back with Layered Rotator Floor. It's time for Asynchronous Rondo. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. This is the one boss that having triple ink strike is absolutely busted. For this floor, basically, it's the one that spawns gelatins the most out of every enemy. One will spawn gelatins the least to attack with it, and one will spawn whenever something is triggered. But for this one, it will always spawn them as a means to protect itself as it rotates. Get caught in the spotlights, it will fire something dependent on what's on the screens. And whenever it spins really fast, it will fire one of three things. You either fire, like, it can fire, let's see, like, it can fire splat bombs, it can fire, the name escapes me, it can fire splat bombs, it can fire, homing arpeggio, or it can fire lasers. And it's always the worst when it fires lasers. Now, you want to stay out of the spotlights of those things, and it can spawn one of few things, like splat bomb, torpedoes or something. Of course, it fires missiles. But it seems I stopped it with just removing a layer. It can fire arpeggios, it can fire splat bombs, or the worst, or the most dangerous of all, it can just fire the lasers. If you find yourself in a moment where you can't exactly be safe around it, you have to get underneath it. And there we go. That's actually the fastest time I ever done it in this challenge. So yeah. However, if you're underneath it, like you saw in the challenge there, it is possible that this thing can actually attack you with a shockwave. Whenever it fires a shockwave, it can do some serious damage to you. It might even put you in critical stasis. You want to make sure you jump over those. This game really likes its shockwaves. Drone ships are something you're going to see the least often, unless I do a certain challenge where I have to do it hackless and prioritize drones. Or mostly hackless in that... Excuse me, mostly hackless in that case. And, basically, because you're limited to one slot and two types of chips, it's not exactly the most beneficial. There are certain chips that I will show off should I end up reaching the end of this series, in showing off every chip I haven't shown off, and such. If I can get triple splashdown, that would be good. Gold. Well, it'll be golden. Sure. Let's take some additional poison ink. It's really good to have this. Like, if you can combo this with poison ink, if you can combo this with sticky ink and hindrance damage, you can basically turn your ink into lava. And now, red's my second most abundant color. Anywho, just basically having all three of those gives you ink lava, essentially. And now, because we have more reds than blues, red's the accent color this time. And as a result, we have some pretty interesting choices. The first floor was more museum and factory-like, while the second tier floors is going to be more aquarium and pool room-like. And I want this. Disc piece drop is really good. I'm not kidding. If you can have a bunch of disc piece drops, you have access to basically a screen nuke. And it's good that this isn't locked behind hacks, and this is not feasibly possible. Seriously, it isn't. If a challenge doesn't seem possible to do, just don't do it. Because a lot of it requires, like, something, like, when it's a challenge that basically requires you to do something that is physically impossible to do because you need to do it to survive, just deplete that meter. Ugh. Now I have to find the last one. Like, even speedrunners disrespect this challenge for that reason. Ugh. Fortunately, it's not a rigorous floor where it's the absolute worst to try to even do. But I was able to at least get something off of it. It's not exactly worth it to do it on easy floors anyway. So yeah. You know what? Main firing speed. Now, I don't know if I've explained the tower floor, the turbine floors and such. There are two turbines on them. Like, there's the lower turbine and the upper turbine. You can hit them both. It's designed that you can hit either of them, and it will provide like ink to the turbine tower. And with 8-ball pushing, basically your biggest enemy is the battering lentos, because they will play with those things like they're puppies, which at first glance looks adorable but gets annoying rather fast because they're actively preventing progress. Main range. It's either I take more money but have something that isn't really going to help me in the long run, or be able to help when my more, I'll just take this. Might as well have a drone, if any, and it might as well be Splat Bomb, because at the very least with Splat Bomb, I have splash radius. So yeah, speaking of turbine tower, here's another floor. Now, you have a gauge with your splat bombs and such, and there can even be, like, battery drops, lucky battery drops as a chip, which allows you to charge it up. These particular chips are charged by the amount of times, these particular, things are charged by the amount of times the amount of ink you cover. And whenever it's full, Pearl will supply what is on the gauge. Now, there are multiple types of drone chips I'm unable to show off since they're locked behind hacks, and I really wish they weren't. Like, I wish there was a hack that lets you have these chips, without diminishing the hack returns, but of course, they have less priority showing up. And drone gauge charge basically shortens the amount of time it takes to get there. I want this, but not on that floor. This, however, it'll actually be beneficial because it's main damage distant. At the very least, it's this floor. I've done this floor with consistency sometimes. I swear this floor has a high chance of luck drops, and I'm gonna hate editing this. No, you don't. No, you don't. At this point, I'm gonna have to have certain parts where it's gonna be completely silent because of interruptions. So this particular floor, I swear, like, every time I'm on this floor, it feels like the luck drops are enhanced. And I want these because having any of these is good. So yeah. Ugh. So of course, with points like these, you can see why having all 3 discs is pretty good, because if it feels like an overcrowded spot, the step-off song basically shoves them all away. Okay, rolling double hill floor. Ink damage up sounds good, but I also want to increase my main range. I'll take this. I'm getting a lot of range this time around. Oh boy, it's this floor. I always hate this floor. Basically, if you ever get close to portals, marching lento will spawn. So you kind of have to use the... So the gimmick of this floor is using these tops in a way to basically allow you to damage the portals, because if you don't do it that way, well, the battering lento will get in the way. Here's another problem with it. If you end up making one of these tops run into each other, well, they'll just bat each other away, and you won't be able to hit the portals. So yeah. And that floor, that carefully aimed floor, is completely uninkable. And there we go. Not exactly the cleanest run. I've had cleaner runs on failed attempts. So yeah. Really? You gotta put that there? You could have put this here. This would have been good if it wasn't a danger floor. Really? I'll take main firing speed. If you can get like getting 3 main firing speed gives you the firing speed of the arrow spray. Oh, looks like it's one of these. A mobility killer chip saturation floor. Which means I am going to be on the move a lot. But, like, you'd have the firing speed of the arrow spray. Now, if it were 4, well, you just have the fastest shooter in the game. And I find it a shame that we don't have a Grisco shooter in that sense. Just imagining what it would be like. It probably would be the arrow spray on crack or something. I don't know. So yeah. Not worth a danger floor. Invading droves. I might as well just support the drone if possible. Now, don't expect too many Spectrum floors on the later floors. You'll have, like, less of a chance of anything showing up. And this has to be rare. 2 Lucky Chip, 2 saturation floors in a row? Like, no joke, that has to be like a rare chance, because it's usually, I was expecting another don't do this, or don't move in Octoling form kind of floor. Like, I feel like they should have just removed the don't move in Octoling form floor, and instead just... Like, hell, the danger floor should have just been some of the more limit use of certain things for. Like, what if one of those floors was basically your, like you have a limited supply of, how much you can use this chip or something. Like, I get that's what one of those wine floors is. It's like, when you use one, you'll cost some membucks to use, but I feel it would have been better if danger floors also gave you a bonus and just double the output. Tempting, but I want this. And I'm not doing internally, spinning in circles internally hunting floor, even if it has disc piece drop, because that disc piece drop, I wish I could get, but that is not worth a danger floor, especially on rigorous. And on top of that, it's this floor again, the one that I always have trouble on no matter what difficulty it is. And I think the easiest one is the ball pushing. As for the palette itself, the palette is based off the Agent 4 from previous titles. Basically, I don't know if I explained this yet, but the idea is that you have the most basic weapon, the most basic sub-weapon, and the most basic special. Something that's easy to use but not overpowered. and requires some good use out of it to basically get some really well done stuff with it. And my firing speed is super fast right now. That marching lento was no trouble for me. In fact, just one shot and I just cleared the rest of the room. I think that's like all the enemies that spawn at that point. Now we're on the hard mode boss. We are finally at the hard mode boss of the floor. And intensifying harmony floor, that means we got the hard mode variant of parallel cannon. On easy mode, it's 1 inkling versus 2, it's 2 and then versus 4. While on hard mode, it's 2 versus 3, then it's 2, then 3, then 5. This is also a really good floor to have triple ink strike on because you can basically gather an advantage if you're playing. How did that reach me? How did that reach me? This is going to be a whole lot harder now because I don't have my armor. Basically, it's good to stand your ground on this perch. I do kind of wish that this was a map in multiplayer. Now they can have any of the 11, most of the 11 weapons. I've yet to see a floor where they have, where one of them has a charger and one of them has a stringer. What you saw there was one of them with a umbrella, one of them with a slosher, one of them with a roller, one of them with a brush. And if they should end up spotting enemies, use this as a moment to use your luck chip drops. Because with the luck chip drops, you should be able to take any sort of chances of being able to possibly get an armor drop and such. Now, one will always spawn with a splashdown, and how they got me is beyond me. Seriously, twice now? Okay, now with that out of the way. Oh no, 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 no! Oh! Okay, no! That's horse... That's just... There was nothing that hit me there. You could look at the footage. There was nothing that could hit me there. Oh!
Wait a minute. What the heck?
Well, as you can no doubt tell, allow me to get my controller on the table. You might have heard someone meow during these last few attempts before the successful take. It has been around 3 months since, well, Cleo has passed away. Between the last attempt of Side Order and now, unfortunately, she would end up passing in August. Those ever so sassy gurgle meows and, well, meows from Cleo in general are the last time you're ever going to hear from her. And it didn't hit me until I was editing attempts 9 through 17 that she did meow during those parts, and I just felt sad for some reason. It just came at me like an oh yeah kind of realization. I apologize if this is a bit awkward. This is an unscripted video like most of my Let's Plays are. And to hear the last meows of Cleo during my recordings. I have another cat named Zoe. sometimes I say the wrong name. Well, she was getting rather old. Her health was dwindling and such, and there wasn't much we could do. As much as I pushed to get the cat to a vet, my mom was afraid that she would have been told that it's too late to do much with her. And it's a shame that that it had to come to that. She was gifted to us, or basically bestowed to us, around almost 10 years ago. Like, I think it was around 2016 when we were given that cat from a family friend. And it was getting to the point where she was no longer able to eat or even use the litter box. It was very concerning, and well, I did expect it coming, but it wasn't any less heartbreaking. I didn't get to say goodbye to her when she was still around. But I did say that I'll miss her. Thank you for the memories, Cleo. You won't be forgotten. Good night, Cleo.